Hello all and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus. It's week 2 here in the winter season, and we have still a few more things that we need to tidy up and complete. I'm currently waiting for a selection of the autumn or fall seeds to grow and mature enough that are in my shed of growing gubbins, because I'd like to make some of the seeds from them, which of course does require me to wait a little bit, and yeah, because I need them to be able to make more seeds. Which is a bit weird for me to have to grow that, but I'm growing those and hoping for the best a little bit. Once I've got them, though, then we're in a good place. Because then that'll be one more thing nailed down that I think there's only a couple more things that I need to make now. I think there's maybe 3? I mean, I'm going to double check and go through the list and see exactly what I still need to make. Because, of course, that is kind of a thing that I need to be aware of. Okay, so we've got lots of stuff that's ready and has smelted up good, which is fantastic. I mean, we're going to be getting quite a lot of this as we go, so kind of a given, isn't it? But yeah, we've got lots of gold, we've got some iridium, we've got a bunch of diamonds here. Probably going to sell a bunch of those, but I believe that I've also got a bunch of fairy roses that I might want to turn into fairy powder. Because there are some uses for it, of course, being able to speed boost stuff, and whilst, yes, it might not be immediately, instantaneously useful, but it's the sort of thing that, I'm not in as hungry a moment for money, now that I've achieved the difficult part already of obtaining the golden clock, which was the thing that I was kind of striving towards and was kind of causing me some grief a little bit. So that's a thing. Right, so we're going to smelt up a bunch of the fire quartz to get a much greater quantity of what's it called? Refined quartz. You know, when you just have one of those brain farts, you just go, yep, nope. We're not going to have words today. We're just going to sit there and go, nope. Can't remember things. But yeah, more refined quartz, because that I need for making more the solar panels. And that's kind of going to be a little bit annoying, but it is something that I need to make. And I'll live. It's just something that needs to happen on that one. And once we've done that, then, again, we're in a better place. And that's really what I can say. Is like we're in better places, and that's really what we need. So, hopefully, we'll be in a sort of a better position. Now, I'm going to burn up a bunch of coal to make charcoal. Sorry, wood to make charcoal. You don't make coal to make charcoal. That'd be dumb. That'd be really stupid, wouldn't it? Yeah, you can tell I'm having one of those days, can't you? Just going, yeah, things and stuff and words, yeah? Yeah, I just, sometimes I do wonder how I don't fall down more. Oh well, that's just how it goes. So yeah, we've got some ideas and stuff that we need to sort out while we're here. And yeah, that's going to be it, really. Okay, so what other gubbins can we sort out today? Well, let's go and visit the animals. We need to get a bunch of eggs as part of our quest to assist Gus in making his Rullabug omelette, which, again, I'm a fond fan of. I very much enjoy eggs. It's a thing that I'm very fond of, and I was very, very fortunate this Christmas to receive a poaching pan, so I can make poached eggs a lot easier. Now, believe me, oh, that makes life so much easier. And yeah, I'm just chuffed to bits, because poached eggs I do quite enjoy, and I really enjoy them with some smoked salmon. I enjoy them with a little bit of rocket as well, and you know, it's a nice thing. And being able to poach eggs quickly and easily with minimal fuss, makes me so happy. Also, less cleaning up, because there's so much faff with actually, like, you know, trying to put a little bit of the vinegar in to try to make sure that the egg stays in one place. It's a lot of work, and I can't be bothered with dealing with that. Whereas just doing a poaching pan, a little bit knob of butter in, and oh look, we're done. So yeah. Anyway, silliness aside, because that is a little bit silly, but that is something that I have been doing on that one. We've got the thing is, I've been rambling about eggs, and I've realised I've just slapped them all into mayonnaise making. Oops, a daisy. Well, I'll have to wait for the next couple of days. Thankfully, though, I'm not too concerned, because as it stands, I do have the ability to get enough eggs within the next few days, so I'm not super worried. Oh my goodness, look at all of that glorious produce. Give it to me. Well, looks like we're going to be slapping a bunch of stuff in here then, aren't we? And kind of see how this goes. So yeah, hopefully this goes all right. Yeah, anyway, before I continue my rambles, we've still got lots of other general gubbinsery that needs organising. And that's just going to be sort of figuring out what stuff I've actually got in the chests that can be turned into preserves and jams and such, and, you know, whittle down the pile. And, you know, I think pickled radishes. I mean, I've seen actually recently that, you know, some of the interesting traditional recipes for kimchi, and actually seeing some that use different sorts of radishes as well as other things. And I'm like, oh, that genuinely sounds interesting. I like that. I like the idea of, to be fair, I think it'd be nice. I'd love to do some homemade kimchi. I know it takes a lot of time, a lot of work, and a lot of effort. But at the same time, it's still kind of cool. And I think that's where my brain goes. Like going, oh, I'd like to try that someday. Whether I can do it effectively and easily, different very question. But I'm a sucker for it, so what can I say? It's the thing is, like, I regularly visit the local Asian supermarkets because the food that I can get there, I enjoy cooking with. I enjoy trying out different foods, and, you know, I think that's perfectly reasonable. As a thing goes, I think it's quite good to experiment with different cultures' cuisines, so that you have a better understanding of them. And that's a good thing, because you can then appreciate the food, you can appreciate the culture, and understand it a bit better. And that's how my brain goes, at least, because I think it's a good, important thing to figure out, at least. So if you can figure out how to do that sort of stuff, fantastic, and you're going to end up with some great results, hopefully. And enjoying cuisine that is not native to your home is, again, perfectly fine. You just got to be... Don't commit horrific war crimes with food, like... I'm trying to think of some that would be absolutely... Like putting ketchup on your sushi. Now, I'm laughing a little bit here because I recently went to quite a upmarket sushi restaurant in a city that I live in the vicinity of called Winchester. Now, Winchester is quite a wealthy place. It's one of, if not the most expensive place to live in the United Kingdom outside of London. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. Like, undeniably beautiful. But, yeah, there's a level to it. So the food that you're going to get there, you know it's going to be a little bit more... Well, pricey is probably one way of putting it. It's the chefs are really going to put some effort in, which is great. But yeah, you can... I remember reading one of the reviews of this particular restaurant, and somebody had apparently asked for ketchup on their sushi, and oh, that nearly made me cry. That was like, why would you ask for that? What's wrong with you? And it was interesting seeing the arguments of people going like, oh yeah, but I'm a customer, I can ask for things. It's like, you are more than welcome to ask for things, but you're gonna get shot down and denied that, because what you've asked for is essentially an abomination. No, you shouldn't have that. You should stop. You should appreciate the fact that the chef has made something, and it doesn't need ketchup. It's not a plate of chips. I think that's a way of putting it. It's not a plate of fries. That, yes, fair enough. You probably want some ketchup with that. I'll give that to you. But you wouldn't and shouldn't ask for ketchup with something that's carefully produced like that. So, yeah. that genuinely hurt me, seeing that review. Because especially since I really enjoyed the food that they had there. It was absolutely fantastic, so. Honestly, that's not a shameless endorsement of a particular sushi restaurant that I'm really a fond fan of. It is not a cheap place in the grand scheme of things. Especially, like, as a young-ish man, there are places that you can go and you go, ooh, that's a bit more pricey than I was expecting, sort of thing. And this is the sort of place you might end up with, and you're going, ooh, that's expensive. But it's good. And that's what I'm after, you know, something great. So yeah, anyway, random rambles aside there, I'm going to I want to see what I can do with this flooring. I'd like to actually lay it around where I'm putting the lampposts and see what it looks like, because I think it might look quite nice, actually. You know what? Yeah. I might extend that, actually, a little bit, and have that run up the middle between the smelters and the such. That might be interesting. I think that's another thing I might want to do, is a little bit of actually redecorating of the of everything that's here. Like, you know, see what I can do that would look nice, and just decorate the farm a bit more and a bit better, because that is something that I haven't really focused on. I've been focusing a lot more on the more like the brutalist side of things, getting stuff done, and maybe not efficiency, maybe not like its prettiness. And I think that might be something I'd like to kind of look at doing a little bit more now. I don't think that's a terrible thing to want to do, and actually I could end up with some nice results, perhaps. We'll see, though. We will see. Hopefully we can come up with something vaguely clever that will look nice and will be functional and yet attractive. That's what I'm after, is something that will look nice and also be good. And that's not a bad thing, right? I don't think it is, at least. I think that would be a wonderful idea. And we will have to see how well we can sort of figure that out, of course. But, you know, I'm sure we can figure something out. So, yeah. That's what I'm kind of looking at the moment. So, anyway, whilst we investigate a little bit further on that side, I'm going to put some of these chests here. Now, see, I'm planning originally, this one should be the fertilizer chest and the miscellanea, like the trees and the wild seeds, because those can grow in any season. And maybe the stuff that grows on, I mean, to be fair, I should probably send the stuff that grows on Ginger Island to Ginger Island. Although, having one chest for each season might be just nicer and better. I think that might be a better thought process on that one, actually. I think that should be a better way of doing things. Let's see what we can do with that. Because maybe, just maybe, we can come up with something a bit better. Because that's kind of what I'm after at this point, is something maybe a little bit nicer and a little bit better. So I'm going to color code them again, which I think is, again, a sensible and reasonable thing to do. So I'm going to have a spring chest. We're going to have an autumn chest. So, you know, spring, summer, autumn, fall, and winter chests. And each of them is going to be obviously good for like the different different times of year, which is nice, and that's what I'm after here. But what else could we put in here that would be good? I mean, that's the question, isn't it? What else could we kind of do on this one? I wonder. Let's have a think. Let's have a think. What would be a good shout? Well, I'll reorganise those chests a little bit. But I'm going to sort out what we've got in the fridges at the moment. Because we've got some ginger, which is good. We could turn that into the ginger ale, which would be nice. And that's lovely. You know, that sort of stuff. Just general stuff and things. But what next? Okay, well, I'm going to summon the horse for a moment. It's a bit late for me to go and go to Pierre's shop and buy a bunch of spring and so on seeds. But I would like to do that and actually have a stockpile of them. Now, I'm going to need a bunch of cauliflower because that's going to be the first crop I'm really going to try growing a lot of in the spring season. Because that's really where we need lots of it, isn't it? It's the high value one, but I'm going to buy the other crops just in case something else sort of pops up and goes, ooh, this wouldn't hurt, would it? That would be useful to have. Because, yeah, there's a lot that I could get. Now, I'm going to buy a bunch of bombs from the dwarf here because I'm going to delve a little bit into the Skull Caverns. And I think that's probably a good idea. Because if I can go farther down in the Skull Caverns, try to get Omni-Geodes and other miscellanea, that would be kind of handy, I think. Because there's a lot of things that I can do, and that probably wouldn't hurt for me to actually sort out. So, we'll see. We'll see. This is the problem with me going, what works? But all the same, we're gonna... I was hoping... Well, not quite desperately hoping, but I was definitely hoping that I'd actually get a little bit of... excuse me. Some of the batteries coming from the solar panels, but it does look like that's not going to happen today, which is a shame. But again, I'll live. It's just a little bit disappointing because I do need them. And that's a big thing, really, isn't it? It's at the moment. I need more of them. I need them to be there. I need them to be in my general inventory. And, yeah. So we'll give that a go at some point. Hopefully we can get something useful out of this in the end. So, yeah. Okay. So, what are we getting while we're down here? Well, there are a few things that we can sort of try to get. And as it rolls, we've got lots of enemies to kill, stuff to murderize, and stuff to get through. We're after the Omni-Geodes as a primary, but anything else is useful. Also coal, because we've run out of it. In honesty, we've genuinely run out of the damn stuff. We've got so much that we could have blitzed through, but we have genuinely burned through our stocks of it, which kind of slows us down a bit. Because it means that I can't make more of the bars of stuff. Bars of gubbins was going to be the word I used there, but that's not a very good word for what I'm making, is it? The different mineral ore bars. So, you know, it's a thing. We need to sort that out as a general thing. So, yeah. So we need to sort that out. But what else can we sort of do while we're trying to figure this one out, at least? Well, I've got some ideas. And that's really what we're after, isn't it? It's also, I'm kind of tempted to try using this as an excuse to see how well I can actually get through the different areas of the mines and see how far down I can get. I know I started at around 6 o'clock, and I know that I'm doing it on the regular mode rather than the hard mode, which is what was causing me all the issues previously. But I'm wondering about testing different ideas for what might work better, I think is probably the best way of describing it. Because, yeah, there are some things that are going to slow me down, and undeniably so. And when I look at it, there are a number of slight difficulties, almost, is probably one way of putting it, that will get in the way of me achieving what I'm trying to do, such as getting further down in the mines and actually doing decently, as daft as that might sound, because I need to get all the resources from them. I need to gather more stuff. I need to figure out what's the best way for me to really do better in here. There's probably the weirdest way of kind of describing it, but that is kind of where I'm at. I've got to figure out what can I do to make my life easier. And, you know, that is going to be a question that a lot of the time you're going to have, isn't it? You're going to go, how the hell do I make my life easier? Because, hell, there's a lot of different ways that one could try. Whether they'll work, very different question. And, yeah, that's kind of what I've got to look at, is what can I do that will make my life easier in this grand scheme of things? Okay. Maybe I should try carrying more of the, what are they called? God, I'm having so many words good. The staircases, to allow me to jump down further and actually get through areas quickly. Maybe I should be organising carrying more bombs, or do I need to try different food items to improve different stats? And the luck one seems to be quite beneficial, but at the same time, is it really that very much of a be-all and end-all? I don't know. And that's the tough question, honestly looking at it. What can I do that's going to make my life easier? And that's really all I can boil it down to. Because who doesn't want an easy life? Anyway. Thankfully, though, murdering all these big, horrible enemies isn't as much of a problem as I would have feared, thankfully. Because they aren't quite as much of a pain in the posterior to deal with. Again, thankfully, because there are a lot of quite frustrating enemies that will cause me a lot of grief, in all honesty. And like these serpents, for example, they're frustrating, they're annoying, and the champion version, the hard mode version of them, they are very annoying. And they just get in the way and they slow everything down, and because they hit really hard. Same with the bats. Those bats hit way harder than they had any right to. Like, beyond any right to. So, you know, that's a thing to kind of look at, isn't it? So, yeah. We've got lots of general ideas, really. Kind of boiling down, lots of stuff to do, and kind of need to figure out how am I going to do it. But for now, we're going to deposit what we've got in here and kind of hope for the best. Like, we've got lots of stuff, which is good and all. And like, I don't think I'm ever going to be upset about getting lots of stuff. But is there anything else that I can do with all of it? I think that's the big question, isn't it? Is there anything else that I can do with the resources I'm getting? Now, I don't think that there is much else that I need to do other than the very basic couple of things that I need to make that I haven't made previously when it comes to the crafting. So we'll see how well that one goes at least. Right, so let's just quickly grab these. Check the TV. Because that's kind of a big thing that I need to do every day, is just check the TV and see if I know that recipe. Now, one of the things I'd actually realised is that I might have actually been a bit of an idiot, more than normal, because when it comes to actually researching the foodstuffs that are available to me, I might have very well gone, oh no, I don't need to worry about that recipe because if it's a rerun, I clearly already know it. And I think my assumption on that might have come around to bite me in the butt. Because there are definitely opportunities for things that I've not thought about. And I might very well have screwed myself over. So I'm hoping that I do know how to make everything now. So let's just quickly sort this out. Yep, we've become part of the Stardew Valley, blah, blah, blah. crafting and stuff. Chuck that in there. That'll be lovely. Hunky-dory. Don't really care otherwise. What else can we do here? Okay. So we're going to put those in there. That's fine. And then what else can we do? Well, got some bait. Woo! I know, right? Bait. Of all the things. Ooh, yay! It's not really the end of the world. It's just it's bait. I'll live. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to grab what we can out of those, and I think we need to go and have a look and see what other we can do here. So we've got lots of the deluxe speed grow, which is nice. Okay, so let's make a few more of the floors because that will look pretty. That'll be nice. We'll put that one there, put that string down there, and then do this one and this one. I think maybe moving that crystallarium off the top in the middle out of the way and actually putting a light there would look nicer, because I don't like the asymmetry. It isn't... Not going to say that it's triggering for me, but it's not... it doesn't feel as aesthetically pleasing, I think is the best way of describing it. It's the, it could be better and it's not, and that's not... It's not doing it for me. So I might have to tweak that around a little, maybe? I'll give that a try, I think. You know, it will come up with something useful, I'm sure. It'll be good. And that's a good thing, though, isn't it? We experiment with what can we actually do and what can we make. And that'd be lovely. Okay. So we will do what we can. Come on. Something useful will be good. Oh, there's Squiggle being happy about things, which is nice. The ever illustrious, lovely Squiggle. How could you not love a little creature called Squiggle? He's squiggly and small and wiggy. I know he's a dinosaur, but he's named after one of my guineas, so... It makes me happy, and that's what matters to me, at least. And I think that's an important thing that a lot of people may forget about doing stuff like playing video games and such. Like, you do it because it makes you happy. Don't do it because someone else tells you that it'll make you happy. I guess potentially it might. Maybe that is a reason to do it, because, you know, if you trust the person and they actually give you a decent actual answer, maybe. Okay, so I've gathered a bunch of eggs, which is fine and all. But we do have a little bit more that we need to work through, don't we? I think that's the tricky bit. Actually working through what do we need and how much of it do we need. What and how much. Very important stuff to kind of manage, really, isn't it? It's, you know, making sure that we make this as good as possible. Oh, goodness gracious. I never make it easy for myself, do I? Anyway, and into this shed, and aha, here we go. So we've now got a selection of... Oh, that's interesting. So if you grow them in a pot, they're always basic quality. That sucks. I didn't expect that. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to make some of the seeds anyway, because that's something I need. Screw it, let's just make another 3. There, cool, we've got 80. Fine, we've got them. That's good. We've got the 80, and that's fantabby-doozy. That's great. Okay, so the next question comes, what else can we do with that? Well, we're going to give it a try at least. I'm going to see what we can do. Okay, so we don't need to make these. We've made those. That's fine. Okay, let's check this page. I think everything on this page has been made. What are we missing? What are we missing? Because I thought that those seeds were the last thing that we hadn't made. I mean, you can see that they were, because there's 80 of them that were made, and that's literally what we've just made. Okay, so it's not any of them? Well, hang on. I saw one that wasn't selected. Okay, right, let's just make sure. Yeah, we've definitely made those. Ah, we haven't made a campfire. Okay, that's easy. And the wicked statue. Okay, so those 2 items, I think we've got the resources enough to make them. So, into the Doobery Hoober place, and we're going to make them. No ifs, and or buts. They're getting made. Because they need to be. They need to be made, they need to be sorted, and they need to be done. And we just need to make this as easy as possible. That's the aim of the game here. We want this all to work, and we need to all to work in our favour. And to do that, we have things to organise. So, let's water all of these. Let's water all of those. That'll be fine. See what we get. That'd be nice. Lovely. Right, so we've watered all of that. Gonna grab them. Oh, okay, so they still... Ugh, that's annoying. Count as still undone. Fine. Fine, fine, fine. That's a thing. We'll deal with it. Okay. Well, that's a bunch of pumpkins. Well, we need pumpkins anyway. So, we will... How are we going to sort this out? Well, we're going to slap them in there. And kind of hope for the best a little bit, aren't we? I think that's a reasonable thing to sort out, isn't it? We've got pumpkins. We've got lots of pumpkin juice. We're going to have lots of pickled pumpkins as well when they come through in this area. Because, again, that's kind of what this area is for. It's just pumpkin production area. Honestly. Again, not a terrible thing. It's just Pumpkinsville. I mean, if you made a town and it was called Pumpkinsville, and you didn't produce pumpkins there, that would be... I'm not saying a war crime, but... it's the sort of level of like, well, why have you not grown a bunch of pumpkins there? Because surely you would have done that. I mean, one would have hoped, at least, that you'd have done that. Maybe not. Again, it's your choice. It's your civilization. You do what you want. But hear me out. If you're calling it Pumpkinsville, they need to be pumpkins. So we've also got these fairy roses. Now, of course, the problem with a lot of the plant, like the flowers are, because they are different colours plus different qualities, you do end up with a little bit of a pain in the butt. It's probably the best way of putting it. Because they are going to be different qualities, which means they take up different amount. They just all take up space, and that's annoying. Like annoying through and through. It's just annoying and irritating, and you just have to deal with it. And it's like, ugh, fine, I will deal with it, but I'm not pleased about the fact that I have to deal with it because it's just unendingly frustrating. So yeah, that's what we have to do. At least. So, yeah. Off we trot. Okay, so what else can we sort out here? Okay, we're going to not drink the coffee. We're going to grab the coffee, however, and we are going to slap that right in to be turned into espresso. Now, of course, one of the things that we do need to be aware of is... actually, what else can we do with our... ill-gotten gains of a sense, really, because we've got lots of stuff. We just need to, you know, use it effectively. I think it's probably the best way of putting it, isn't it? We need to be vaguely clever about how we look at what we've actually got available to ourselves, and yeah, and there's plenty that we could do. But it's trying to figure out what is the best plan, at least. So yeah, we'll figure that out. Okay, so we're going to make a campfire. We've made the statue. We have crafted everything. It is done. We have crafted absolutely everything. We have cooked absolutely everything. We are in that beautiful place where we've done it. It's, I mean, I'm not saying that the game is complete, but we've done it. It's for the very first time I've ever done it. Perfection is, I mean, it's there. I don't even know what happens next, because of course I've never done it. I'm assuming that you get like a message from Mystic Key or from the wizard or someone, maybe even Grandpa. Does Grandpa tell you things? I mean, that kind of makes some sense to me, that like Grandpa would be like, "Hi, grandchild, you have done a thing. Congratulate. You should feel pleased with yourself. You've done a thing." Now I've just got the idea of my grandfather turning around and telling me, "Well done, son, you've done a thing," which is so beyond anything that he would actually ever say. I think if I ever heard him say that, I'd know something was definitely wrong. Grandparents. Anyway, so George would like a herring. Well, that's something that I think you can catch at any time of day during the winter, in any weather, so that won't be hard, I don't think. So I guess we'll do that, because that's not going to be a problem. Let's buy a bunch of coffee. Because if I buy a bunch of coffee, I can use that at least. I could turn the coffee into espresso. I mean, yes, it's expensive comparatively, but yeah, I can do it. It's not the end of the world, is it? Anyway. Right. What else have we got? It's more than one. What else can we do? Well, it's 3:40 on Thursday. We've still got a little bit of time that we can actually do things in. The question is what? What should we do, and where should we do it? I guess that's the big question, isn't it? What can we reasonably achieve? Well, I'm going to buy a bunch of the seeds here from what's his face, because that's probably a good idea. As daft as that might very well sound, like as ideas doth go, it's probably not a bad idea for me to stock up on seeds ready for the new year. Because why wouldn't I not want to be prepared for all of the stuff that's going to happen next? There's plenty of opportunity to get stuff organised and such. So yeah, let's do it. Let's make this this next coming year well prepared and well organised, and yeah, that'll be great, I think, because then we'll be ready to roll. And that's an important thing, isn't it? It's being ready and prepared for what you kind of need or want to do. And I can put these in my chests, and actually I think having a stockpile of stuff in the chests is probably a nice and good idea, generally. Now, I've taken up a lot of the inventory space already, so I'm going to have to come back to sort this all out, but it's at least vaguely prepared, isn't it? Probably the best way of putting it, isn't it? We're vaguely prepared for getting stuff done. And we're going to have that happen. It's going to be a thing. We're going to be vaguely prepared with lots of vague and wonderful general things. So, meh. It'll do. It'll do. So, okay, so I'm going to make some more fairy dust and just use the fairy roses to make it, because then I'll have them at least, and then that's ready. And again, that's kind of the big thing for me here, is actually being prepared moving forward, because there are going to be times that I'm going to need to rush produce something, I think. Because I think if you sprinkle it on a crop that's not grown, it'll be ready. And actually that's a really useful thing, honestly, looking at it, because there are going to be times when you need stuff prepared, but you just haven't got it. And yes, okay, it's less of a concern for me at this moment in time, now that I have already sorted everything out that I needed to you know, worry about, but it is a thing, isn't it, that I should be aware of, and being able to sort that out is good. And stuff and things. Again, you can tell that I'm like, my brain's sort of clicking over in the weirdest possible way, going, well, yeah, that is good. That's how we need it to be. We're going to be prepared, and we're going to be ready, and we're going to do things, and it'll be great. And that's just an important sort of like a look for myself, is, you know, making sure that everything is ready and ready to go. Okay, so what we're going to do as well, we're going to try and catch as many big fishies. So, well, I say big fishies, but we're actually after herring, which are quite small, if memory doth serve. Now, I will freely admit, herring and just general fish aren't exactly my main field of knowledge and experience. It's a fish, and it swims in the sea. I know, right? I'm so powerful. I just genuinely don't know how I don't fall down more. So yeah, it's not the end of the world, but I need to catch them. So tackle's worn out. Curses. Well, I'm going to sell a bunch of these fish anyway when I catch them, at least. I'm going to go see George if I do catch a herring. I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult to catch one, right? Or two. I mean, even if I catch two, that's fine, isn't it? Because I don't need two, but I'll have two, and that'll be fine. I'll live. Come on. There's got to be something that would be vaguely sensible for me to try and get, right? Well, I mean, one can hope that there's something vaguely sensible. And that's the thing, it's like, honestly, trying to catch all these fish, it's like a bit of a pain. I mean, I'm not saying it's like impossible to sort out, but it is a smidgen of a pain. Come on. Please get caught. That's what I want. Why are they being so fiddly difficult? That's really annoying, isn't it? Like, I've not had much luck with catching said annoying fish. You'd hope that you'd be able to catch something, right? But apparently I'm just struggling at actually catching anything of vague use or import. And that's, I guess, an issue. Annoying, I will freely admit, but not the end of the world. Like, I'm sure I can catch one, and I'm sure I'll be able to give one to... What's his face? There we go, I've caught two, rambling to myself, and I managed to get one. There we go, fantastic, that's all I needed. So, I needed a couple of those, we're going to go trundle them off, and we'll get rid of them. We don't need them right now, and it'll be fine, we don't have to worry about anything, that's done. And, yeah, off we go. So, where to next? That's the big question, isn't it? Well, it's only 7:40. Maybe I should go back into the mines. Maybe that's going to be where I'll head to next. I mean, it's not a bad place to sort of end up, is it? I don't think. Yeah. Maybe that's what I'll do. I will go to the mines themselves, and we will see what we can sort out in them. And I say mines, the Skull Caverns, whatever it is. But it's, again, trying to get more of the damn Omni-Geodes, which are an absolute pain in the posterior. I need them, and I need more of them. There's no ifs and or buts about it. I just need the damn things. And they are causing me a number of frustrations, because I've not been able to get them very, very, very easily. And I would like to get them, please. That'd make my life better. I'd quite like a lot more of them. That's probably the best way of putting it. And I think that's a bit of an issue in some ways, because I've not been able to get these geodes and actually hold on to them, because I'm an idiot. I keep spending them on the damn artifact troves, and that's going to have to be something that I need to look at a bit more, and I've got to be really careful, got to be really anally retentive, and just go, no, this is entirely and utterly only for the turbans. And I want the turbans because it's a headgear that's kind of interesting, and it's not one I own. So yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to make sure that we don't end up doing stupid stuff. And that's the tricky bit, isn't it? But we're going to give it a go. Going to give it a try and just hope for the best. But for now, we're going to head into the desert, and we are going to find our way through all the damn stuff. We're going to try and get through as much as we can, and the sooner we do it, the better. It's honestly the best way of putting it, really, isn't it? We've got no other ifs and or buts. It's what needs to happen. Oh, goodness gracious. So yeah, we're going to give that a go. That's going to be the best plan, isn't it? You've got to get further down in here. It shouldn't be super difficult to do. Like, it's not the hardest area to work your way down in. But the problem really comes from the quantity of weird and wonderful that is going to occur in this place. You're going to find more weird and wonderful stuff. Oh, look, there's a dinosaur. Die. There we go. Well, that's an egg. That's useful. I can throw that in the fridge. I forgot the word fridge there. You can tell I'm having a good day, can't you? Fridge. Because that's a useful word that would be very sensible to remember how to use as a thing. But yes, anyway. Getting a hold of stuff from them, that's kind of important, isn't it? We've got to make sure that we can have a decent amount of stuff coming through. We don't want to not be able to get stuff, do we? But has anyone got any better ideas on getting Omni-Geodes? Is this really the easiest way of getting them? I mean, it feels like it. I mean, I could be wrong, but it does genuinely feel like this is the best way of getting Omni-Geodes. I don't think that there's really anywhere else to... Like, the volcanoes are all well and good, but the trouble with the volcano, in my mind, is that it is limited in the fact that it is only 10 floors and will only ever be 10 floors. And because it kind of generates more of a multitude of things rather than just one thing, as daft as that might sound, there's not... You're going to get a variety of different copper and gold and iron, which, yes, you do get in Skull Caverns. But you do seem to get more of the... Like, you get the iridium, which, yes, again, you can get in the volcano. Rarely, but you can get them. But there are lots of different things that you kind of need, and you're going to have to deal with, aren't you, whilst roaming around in there. So for now, just detonating all these stones. There we go, 2 Omni-Geodes. That's fantastic. We just need more of them, and I think that's the big problem I've got, is that there are so many different times that I'm going to need Omni-Geodes. I say times that I'm going to need them. I just need them flat out. There's no ifs and or buts about it. It's just going to be, well, getting them. Shouldn't be too difficult, honestly. But yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. So yeah, we're going to do our best to just slug our way through the mines. And, you know, hopefully we'll also get some more auto-petters. Because why would we not want to get more of them? Because that is a thing, isn't it? You've got lots of an opportunity to get these auto-petters, and I've just not had many of them turn up, which is a crying shame. Because, yeah, I want more of them. Please, and thank you. And I think that's quite reasonable. Honestly. I believe that in no way would it not be a reasonable thing to kind of drive for. So, that's a thing. Well, it's 12:20. Now, I've got to make that tough decision. Do I bail on the run earlier? I think I'm going to try and keep going until about 1:30. It's probably the best sort of thing. Like, I'm not really struggling. Because I think that's one of the things that I had as a sort of a consideration, is that when I looked at what was kind of available to me, I kind of struggled in some ways, because a number of the things that I was encountering, like in these caves, weren't difficult. And because of that, I kind of assumed that the hard mode would be really easy, which foolishly I was very incorrect for. But I think that's really what it boils down to, isn't it? I made a lot of assumptions and mistakes, which I think is a story of my life, really. Assumption, the mother of all mess-ups, is probably the easiest way of describing it. So let's put that in there. So, because we're wrapping everything up for now, I'm just going to start off with a fond thank you for my Patreon subscribers. You're absolutely fantastic, and I really do appreciate your support. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed my random ramblings as I roam through and finally achieve victory of, I believe, actually having completed my perfection status. Believe me, it feels real good. I didn't expect to be able to get to this point and actually achieve it within 3 years. It was kind of a, yeah, we're going to do it, and then felt a bit concerned. But if you have enjoyed, please do like, share, and subscribe, and thank you all once again for tuning in, and if you hopefully I will catch you all again the next time the Walrus plays Stardew Valley.